This is where MAGA comes to talk, and as always, we got a lot to talk about, so don't go anywhere. And I'll be taking your calls live. Welcome, everyone. Oh, yeah. There's like so much news breaking like around the clock. Okay, there we go. So much to cover. Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. Welcome. Thanks for joining. We got a lot to cover. We're going to get into in a little bit this just Hunter Biden unplugged coming up in a few minutes, and a lot of other things have gone on too. But this story that dropped just this morning is absolutely great. Newsweek magazine that never meant a Republican it didn't hate. Newsweek, is it still a magazine? Is there like a physical magazine you can get for Newsweek? Or is it just an online thing? But anyway, Newsweek declares Trump the most successful president after 6 months since Franklin Delano Roosevelt, FDR. And that is saying a lot. Let me go through this story. This is a beautiful story. Newsweek magazine has said that President Trump has had the most successful first 6 months in office since FDR. They say that that this conclusion is the result of an analysis that it conducted using OpenAI's popular large language model, ChatGPT. Oh my goodness! Last I heard, ChatGPT was liberal. That's right. Newsweek asked ChatGPT to rank the accomplishments of the 20th and 21st century U.S. presidents in their first 6 months, taking account of the level of support they enjoyed in Congress. The model gave Trump an overall score of very high thanks to legislation such as the One Big Beautiful Bill and the Lincoln-Riley Act. The AI analysis concluded that in the first 6 months of Trump's second term were the most productive since the first term of FDR in 1933. And, you got to understand, that's really saying a lot, not just because Newsweek's liberal, ChatGPT is liberal, but the reason that it's so significant is because the first 6 months of FDR's first term in 1993 is when the entire New Deal was passed. And that's what he's most known for, other than, of course, Pearl Harbor and World War II. But, the New Deal was a pretty big thing. And history remembers it, even though there's some problems with FDR being a racist Democrat. But to put Trump up there with the first 6 months of FDR's first term with the new, and that's when the first 100 days became a thing. They always make a big deal about the first 100 days, and that is because FDR got the New Deal passed in the first 100 days. So that is a really significant thing. Now, I didn't need Newsweek to tell me that. I mean, you could tell since Trump won, when he was president-elect again, you've been able to tell, haven't you, a big mood change in the country? Doesn't the country feel more conservative, more MAGA? And what's happened is that conservatives, MAGA people, have come out of the closet. A lot of people were conservative all over the country. A lot of people like Trump all over the country, but they've been living in the closet because they were afraid of the cancel culture. Because if people found out you were a Republican, if people found out you supported Donald Trump, they'd go out to destroy your life. All right, remember the Twitter mob that used to be around before Elon bought Twitter? So, it does feel a lot different in the country, right? It really does. And I'm glad Newsweek is writing some truth there. And the very fact that Newsweek, that hates every Republican that's ever lived, puts something about a Republican president like this that's so positive in their publication tells you that there's been a big change in the country. And, that's why this thing with Hunter that we're going to get to is so significant and so important because, I'm going to get to it in just a little bit. But Hunter Biden just was completely unglued, and we're going to get to that. But some of the things that are coming out, as an example, what's been going on with this big release about the coup against President Trump's first term led by Barack Obama. And this story is not going away. The media aren't covering it very much, okay? I mean, they really aren't. They're trying to downplay it, but this is one of the reasons that so much of the country has been red-pilled in the last couple of years. When Trump won the first time against Hillary Clinton, the powers that be in Washington just couldn't handle it or accept it. And we'll get into that, but I want to get into Hunter first. And, this business with Hunter Biden is just absolutely frightening. And I'll tell you why it's so frightening with Hunter Biden is he went on this just profanity-filled, insane rant against everyone and everything is everyone else's fault, except, of course, him or his dad. But what's scary about Hunter Biden was one of the AutoPen members that was running the country the last 4 years. If you remember, this lunatic junkie that's got every vice ever known to man except gambling. I haven't heard anything about Hunter gambling, but every other vice there is, he's got it. And he was in on every meeting. He was in top secret meetings, and he was running the country. Think about that. Hunter Biden, with this committee and the AutoPen people and his stepmother, he was one of the committee of people that was running the United States the last 4 years, this rambling lunatic that we're seeing all over the news today. This is in the New York Post. An enraged Hunter Biden ranted against effing dictator thug President Trump over his policy of deporting violent illegal immigrants to a notorious El Salvadorian prison complex, and mused about invading the Latin American country if he were in office. Now, what's going on here with Hunter Biden, Hunter Biden, his entire life is one big screw up. There's never been a time in Hunter's life that he hasn't been screwing up. Remember, his dad got him into the Navy. He didn't even have to go to basic training. He was an officer, and then he failed his first drug test. Remember, he had that rental car. He turned it in. It had a crack pipe in it. Remember all that? It just goes on. But Daddy was always around to take care of Hunter. Well, now Daddy's out of power. And there's a couple things that the Bidens are going through. One is with Daddy out of power, he's got no juice. Somebody like Joe Biden has ticked off a lot of people, right? So Joe Biden, a lot of people have been putting up with Joe Biden and sucking up to him for many, many years because he was so powerful. And a lot of you don't remember what Joe Biden was like when he was in the Senate. Let me tell you something. He was on TV every single day. He was on the Sunday shows every weekend, and he was nasty as nasty can be. He makes AOC and Jasmine Crockett look like nice people. I mean, he was really nasty. And if you ever see those when something happens in the Senate and they'll have a group of senators that come out and do a little unscheduled press conference like in a hallway in the Senate. You ever see that? That was always Biden front and center. And the late, great Rush Limbaugh used to call him plugs because he had these hair transplants the ones that look like doll hair that they put like in cornrows and these weird lines. And Joe Biden was just so nasty. But he was always there bailing out both of his kids that got addiction problems, in particular Hunter. And so Hunter and the Biden family got two problems. For the first time in their life, he's no longer a prince. You know, I remember when some of these big things were coming out about Hunter with the artwork. Remember he took that picture doing his art with the straw in his nose, and all this stuff was coming out about Hunter. And they had a state dinner at the White House, and I saw these people lining up, these big Democrats at this event at the White House lining up just to shake hands with Hunter. I wouldn't go anywhere near this guy with the kind of lifestyle he's had. I mean, you know, he's just a dirty person. I mean, you know, he's like a street addict, you know, just a little cleaned up. But he was like a prince, and now he's no longer American royalty because his dad's no longer in power. So nobody cares about him. That's one problem. So there's a struggle for that. But the secondary problem, and this is really a bigger problem, is that the cash cow's gone, right? You know, they don't have the money coming in anymore. There's no more backroom deals. There's no more corrupt deals. There's no more Burisma, and there's no more diamonds being given to him by Chinese people and all this stuff. And Joe Biden, his whole family was living off of him, right? Not just his son, but the son's extended family, the daughter and her family, his brother and his whole family, his sister and her whole family, the Bidens themselves. They got a lot of people, and they're all scummy. Everyone in the Biden family is scummy. There's no one in that family that's not, right? And the money's not coming in anymore. They got problems. So what Hunter's doing here is trying to get back in the family business. Now, what that is, I don't know, because he was on this FU tour today, attacking even George Clooney and everything. But if you go and get Miranda Devine's book, Laptop from Hell, I've been recommending that book for years. I recommend the audio book. The guy that narrates it, the audio version of Miranda Devine's Laptop from Hell, is very good. It's a dramatic reading. And as corrupt as you think the Bidens are, as scummy as you think Hunter and his daddy are, it's much, much worse. And when you get the book, Miranda Devine's book on tape with the dramatic reading, it's insane, okay? And the lifestyle that they live is a life of extravagance, a life of sin and vice, and they have no business. The business that the Bidens were in was the business of being a corrupt public official taking bribes. And since that's not happening anymore, they got no money coming in. And there's a lot of them that live high on the hog, and they're bonus. So what's Hunter trying to do is trying to get back in the family business. Now, when you go through Laptop from Hell, what happened was this, and she really explains why Joe Biden came and ran for president again. And it's pretty simple. The family plan was for his son that sadly passed away, Beau Biden, to take over the family business of being a corrupt public official. Remember, he was the Attorney General of Delaware, if I remember correctly. And the plan was for him to become the senator from Delaware, and then he would carry on the family business of corruption. And he passed away. And I don't know too much about him, but everybody in the Biden family is scummy, so I imagine he was. But on the surface, he was clean. So the rest, Hunter and his sister are both addicts, and Hunter's just the worst. So they can't get elected. They can't be the senator from Delaware. Okay, they can't get elected. So Joe came out of retirement running for president to become president again because they needed the money. And I could only imagine the kind of things Joe had been doing the last 4 years because all he cared about was getting money. So what Hunter's doing is trying to find a way to get some money coming back in. Now, I know this will sound crazy to a lot of people. No one's going to believe this but me. Now, but you got to think about this from Hunter's perspective. You know, remember in the laptop, in Hunter Biden's laptop, by the way, if you're on hold, hang in there. If you're watching live on YouTube, you can call me live. The number is pinned in the live chat. It's toll free, 1-888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. But if you remember from the Hunter Biden laptop from hell, there's a lot of email and text exchanges there between him and other members of his family, including his sister. And Hunter thinks that he's like this successful, brilliant businessman. He doesn't understand that all these jobs were fake jobs, and he was paid these huge sums of money, but that were really bribes for Daddy-O, Joe, right? Pops. And he writes all the time about how Dad's taken all of his monies to distribute it to the family. He was writing to his uncle about this, Joe's brother, and everything else. So this will sound crazy to everyone, and I'm not suggesting this is going to happen, but I'm telling you what Hunter Biden is thinking, okay? And you got to understand, Hunter Biden comes from the perspective of a drug addict, okay? So he sees the world through the lens that he is some accomplished. Remember his dad said he's the smartest man he ever knew. He thinks he's the smartest man that his dad's ever known. And his dad's known a lot of people. He thinks he's an accomplished businessman and that he's brilliant. And Hunter thinks he's going to get elected to the Senate or something and carry on the family business. So he is this bizarre rantings that he went on is Hunter Biden, in his mind, launching himself back into the world of politics, where he'll maybe get on the speaking tour, get a book deal, or something like that. The only business he could get into would be if he was put out a line of some CBD products or something, Biden gummies or something. People might okay, that fits into what he knows about, which are drugs. But what's crazy about this is this lunatic was running the country for 4 years with a handful of other people. And you go through this article. I mean, this is just nuts. Hunter Biden raged against Democrats for appeasing what he called the effing Trumpian sense of white voters. He's big on the F word, Hunter, isn't he? Big on the F word. And expressed no sympathy for Americans who made illegal immigration a top issue in last year's presidential election. People are really upset about illegal immigration. And then Hunter says, F you. How do you think you're... Now this next part of what Hunter says, this is, this could be a Democrat back in 1855 talking. Okay, listen to what Hunter says next. How do you think your hotel room gets cleaned? How do you think you have food on your effing table? Who do you think washes your dishes? Hunter Biden says. Well, you know who washes my dishes? Well, the dishwasher. My wife and I put the dishes in the dishwasher. But I don't have a dishwasher here. I got a dishwashing machine. But you look at what he's talking about here. What Hunter is talking about is what Democrats so often talk about. They're worried about their slaves. These are the same things Democrats said in the 1850s leading up to Abraham Lincoln's election. Who's going to pick the cotton? Who's going to take care of your babies? Who's going to mow your lawn? Who's going to clean the toilet? Who's going to empty out the outhouse? Who's going to wash your dishes? They don't even hear themselves. And all that was going on at the southern border was it was a slave passage. And you hear it right here from Hunter Biden. Hunter goes on, he's so all this colorful language. Who do you think is here by the effing sheer, effing just griff? And boy, I think maybe I have to do some substance to understand what he's saying. They figured out a way to get here because they thought that they could give themselves and their families a better chance. And somehow Trump's convinced us that these people are effing criminals, he added, visibly struggling for non-profanities to express his feelings, they said. See, Hunter's a criminal. Been doing all kinds of crime, whether it's, taking prostitutes around or the illegal drugs. He's been doing crimes his whole life. So, of course, he relates to criminals. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name's Isaiah. I'm calling from Aiken, South Carolina.
All right. South Carolina, what's on your mind?
Joe Biden. I think he's probably going to end up going to jail.
Joe Biden?
Yep.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. Certainly Hunter. Hunter's got a long life ahead of him to screw up, and his whole life's been one screw up after the other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, listen, appreciate the call. Thanks so much. And if you're on hold, hang in there. Let me get back to, I lost my place. Okay. President Joe Biden, Hunter's dad, this is in the New York Post I'm reading from, had eased up dramatically on illegal immigration. Yeah, that's putting it lightly, right? Like just totally erasing the southern border. And paved the way for one of the largest border crises the country has faced in decades, and even Democrat mayors publicly venting about their cities being overwhelmed. Despite polls showing the issue was an albatross for his father and his party, Hunter lashed out at pundits, calling for Democrats to moderate. And then Hunter goes on. This next part, this is Hunter, I'm quoting. White men in America are 45 more times to commit an effing violent crime than an immigrant, he said. Boy, he's big on the F word. He's big on the F word, Hunter. White men in America are 45 times more likely to commit a crime than an illegal. Well, first of all, the illegals, they have the highest crime rate you can possibly have. They have a 100% crime rate because they're here illegally, so they're all criminals. And this is just a talking point that these liberals make up, right? Oh yeah, white guys are more likely to commit crimes. Really? I don't know about that. Then he goes on, okay, white men in America are 45 more times likely to commit an effing violent crime than an immigrant, Hunter said. And the media says, you got David Axelrod and Rahm effing Emanuel, so effing smart Rahm Emanuel. Then we got to understand that these people are really mad, and we got to appeal to these white voters. The younger Biden then argued that the only person who appealed to those effing white voters was his father. Not because the 46th president didn't appease their effing Trumpian sense, but because he challenged it. I wonder, is this the way Hunter normally is? The smartest man that his dad's ever known? Is this how he normally speaks? Is this like the real Hunter Biden that we're seeing for the very first time? Then he goes on, how do you think that we are reborn? How do you think that we attract the smartest people in the world to the United States of America? Through immigration, he continued, contrasting the U.S. with China and with Russia. Hunter also ripped into White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller, who, by the way, my two favorite people, I love them equally, that work for President Trump in his second term is Stephen Miller and Tom Homan. Those two guys are my favorite, and they're perfect. On Stephen Miller, who's widely seen as one of the driving forces behind Trump's hardline immigration agenda, there is something effed up about that mother effer, Hunter said during the brief aside. Oh my goodness, what a class act. Ironically, the scandal-scarred former first son also has a history of disrespectful comments about immigrants. In October 2018, after Hunter's sister-in-law turned his lover, which in itself is sick and twisted, can any of you imagine beginning an intimate relationship with your sister-in-law or your brother-in-law? That's gross. In October 2018, after Hunter's sister-in-law turned lover, Haley, threw his .38 revolver into a trash can near a Delaware grocery store, Hunter was questioned by police at the scene. When two Mexican males walked by, Hunter reportedly told the police officers the store had suspicious employees. Oh, so racist there. Yeah, probably illegal, he said when asked if he was referring to the pair who had just passed by. And this was in a police report. But I will tell you, this story today, this just is another example of how we have been saved by the greatest president of any of our lifetimes, arguably in the history of our country, and that's Donald Trump. You know, if Donald Trump would have caved to what they were trying to get him to do, which was run no more, drop out of the race, Joe Biden probably would have been reelected. Think about that. Joe Biden probably would have been reelected if President Trump did not run for reelection. And everything they were doing that last year before the election was to get him to not run. And as bad as his mental decline was in that term, could you imagine Joe Biden in a second term? He would have gotten worse and worse and worse. And this lunatic that everybody's laughing at today, Hunter Biden, would have been really, in effect, running the country with a handful of other people, but because he would be the president's son, he'd be the main guy with his stepmother, Jill. Pretty scary stuff, I'm here to tell you. Now, I want to take a moment to talk about Jupiter Joe Thomas and annuities. You know, annuities are absolutely amazing. You know, with an annuity, no matter what happens in the market, markets go down, there's a crash, whatever happens, your investment in your annuity is safe. It never goes down. And you're guaranteed an income stream for the rest of your life. It is absolutely amazing. You know, we had Jupiter Joe Thomas was in studio with me a while back, and I asked him this question. I said, you know, a lot of working people, middle class people invest in annuities, and also very wealthy people invest in annuities. When someone who's a high income earner and someone who's a middle class person comes to you, what are the different things that they're looking for? He says the same thing, income. Yeah, that's right. And, you know, a great thing about annuities, see, when you're in the workforce, people, you know, you got income coming in, people may feel a little more like gambling in an investment because they're still working, they lose money, they think, I can make some of that. When you're retired, though, you're no longer in the workforce and you don't have as much time to make up any losses. And an annuity with having a safe investment and a revenue stream for the rest of your life in your retirement, that is great. And you can do with whatever you want with that money. You can go and visit your grandkids. You can take a cruise around the world, or just go and play golf every day, or get your hair done every week, whatever it is you want to do. No one that I know is going to turn down another income stream, especially in retirement. And Joe Thomas offers free phone consultations, which you can take advantage of no matter where you are in the United States. And I just want to tell you a little bit about Joe Thomas. He's been in the retirement planning business for over 30 years, but listen to this. He's a 5-time qualifying member of the $1 Million Roundtable, which is achieved by less than 1% of all financial advisors in the world. So he's a top man in the industry, and he's offering you a free phone consultation. That is amazing. The value of that alone is something, isn't it? And after that phone consultation, Joe Thomas is going to put together a custom proposal just for you based on your situation, your needs, and your goals. Give him a call and take advantage of this. 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. And if you missed the number, just go to his website. It's easy to remember. JupiterJoe.com. All right? Okay, well, let's get back to it and back to our phones. Our number, 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Jake, and I'm calling from California.
All right, Jake in California. What's up?
So I got to ask, why are you even wearing a Trump 2028 hat? You know he can't run again, right?
That's not true.
I mean, it is because he won twice, so he can't run again.
No, there's ways for him to be able to run again. Sure, you could.
No, see, he can't because the Republican Party freaked out, like incredibly freaked out, did stories on it, said it was a nod, that when Obama even joked about running for a third term, about how un-American it is, how dangerous that is, how there's limitations. So explain to me why he gets to, but a Democrat president is not allowed to.
Well, no, what you can do is amend the Constitution of the United States so that there are no term limits, and Obama and Clinton could run together as running mates in 2028 against him if they want.
No, but here's the thing. You're not hearing the point. When Obama made a joke about it, Republicans freaked out and said, not on our watch, you can never do that.
Yeah.
But then Trump comes along, and you guys go, it's Trump, why not?
Well, if you've seen the news, well, there's some good reasons for that. Trump is a good guy. Obama, you may have missed the news. Excuse me, I'm answering your question. Let me finish.
Okay.
Obama has just had a criminal referral sent to the Justice Department from the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, for committing treason. So Obama's a bad guy who was doing all kinds of crime as president.
Well, but just because they file it doesn't mean it goes through. Trump was actually convicted of 34 felonies of committing
by a corrupt judge for crimes he didn't commit.
He also has lied to the American people time and time again.
No, Trump has never lied to the American people.
He has, because when he's confronted,
what lie did he tell?
He just says,
what
you're
did he?
A nasty, rude person.
What lie did he tell? What lie did he tell?
What lie did he tell that they're eating the dogs? They're eating the pets of the people that live there. That's one lie.
What kind of accent is that?
And when his own vice president is confronted with that fact, that he says, "How dare you fact check me?"
Okay. Well, see, you're confused. You're confused, and I understand. You're in California, the land of the fruits and the nuts.
I'm not confused.
Yeah, you're confused. See, you don't understand the difference. Okay. There were reports out of Springfield, Ohio, that illegals were eating cats. And it was, and excuse me, and it was, at the time, it was being widely reported and has never been debunked. So what he said was accurate, but what you're confusing, see, you don't understand what lying is. There's a difference. Excuse me. Slow down. There's a difference between lying about something and being mistaken about something. So, lying is, when you're lying, there's something, you're telling something that you know is not true. When you're mistaken, you're saying something that may not be true, but you think it's true. Now, so far as the cats in Springfield, I'm not saying Trump was mistaken, but you don't understand what a lie is.
No. I understand what a lie is, and what I'm telling you is that J.D. Vance, his own vice president, was confronted with the same thing in other interviews, despite the debate, even said, there are reports. And then they said, yes, we checked with the officials who got those reports, and they said, nothing can be substantiated, and we have no
Well, you can't trust those local officials. They're corrupt.
Well, what local official can you trust if they're
the only government officials I trust are President Trump and those in his great cabinet.
So when Trump says there's nothing to see in the Epstein files, when for years he said, "Hey, I'm going to release him,"
yeah.
All of a sudden he says, "There's a lot."
Well, there's a difference. Okay, now see, this is another thing. See, you just don't see. Trump derangement syndrome clouds your thinking. You're not thinking clearly.
No, it's not.
When Trump was talking about the Epstein files that you referenced, that was when he was running against Hillary Clinton. And when he talks about them recently, there's a big difference. So what is the difference between his knowledge then and his knowledge now, would you say?
His knowledge then and his knowledge now, the difference is that again, he is in it.
No.
There's photos of him with him.
No.
There's
No.
videos of him
The
with him.
difference.
There's
No.
big-
You don't even know what you're. The
sir.
difference
No,
is
I get
when
it.
he
No,
was.
here's the difference.
Excuse
Here's
me.
the difference.
When he was talking about them in
Let
the.
me explain.
When he was talking about the files, when he was talking about the files in 2015 as opposed to now, the difference is he had not seen them then, and now he has because he's president and he knows there's nothing in them because he's seen them.
So you're telling me that Epstein, one of the biggest pedophile ring people that we know of, nothing to see here, nothing to look here. It almost sounds like he's pretty damn guilty.
No, what
because,
happened
you know
was
what?
President Trump said last week, that Obama, Biden, and others had been adding falsehoods into the files. But hey, listen, I'm going to run to some other callers, but I appreciate the call, all right? Take care. Now, I want to tell you guys, before I go back to the phones, go to mypillow.com, use my promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, and order yourself a 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper. My wife and I have been sleeping on the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper for years. It will change your life. It turns your entire bed into a big MyPillow. It's absolutely amazing. But here's another cool thing about it. You can get it for 30% off, by the way, with my promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. It comes in every mattress size there is, from a twin all the way up to split king and California king and every size in between, including the RV sizes and the sizes that semi-truck drivers have in their sleeper cabs. The cover of it has that temperature regulating material in it. So during these hot summer months, it keeps you cool and comfortable all night long, no matter how hot it is. And then during the cold winter months, it keeps you warm and toasty. Comes with a 60-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty. So go to mypillow.com, use my promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, and order your MyPillow 3-inch mattress topper. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes, Mr. Craig, I'm a big... Yeah, can you hear me, Mr. Craig?
I can.
Man, look, I've been watching your show for a good little bit and everything, and I was just wondering, man, what makes you still stand with Trump despite everything he's been doing?
What do you mean what he's been doing? What, passing the big, beautiful bill, making America great again, ending the largest slave and sex trafficking operation in history by closing down the southern border, raising billions of dollars a week from the tariffs? I don't know. All these things he's doing are spectacular. I don't... Why would I not like that?
The thing is, on 2 different occasions, Mr. Trump said that he would not cut Medicare and not do this and not do that. But yet, with this big, beautiful deal, he's done it.
No, he hasn't. No, he hasn't. He hasn't cut Medicare. He hasn't cut Medicare or Medicaid. No. What they did was stop illegals that were illegally getting Medicaid benefits from getting them.
No.
Yes.
Do you understand? See, first of all, you're talking to somebody who's very educated in this.
Well, that's your first problem right there. So you
know
know someone who, hold on a second. You know someone who had Medicaid, but now they don't because of the big, beautiful bill that doesn't even go into effect until October? I'm fascinated by this.
But the problem is once that screw starts turning and it starts to go in effect.
Who do you know who's lost their Medicaid? Tell me who you know who's lost their Medicaid benefits because of the big, beautiful bill?
It hasn't happened. It hasn't gone into effect, but what I'm telling you, sir, is there's going to be a lot of people who lose their Medicare.
Yeah, illegal aliens. Illegal aliens.
No, not just illegal aliens. People who need it. People who actually need it.
Who needs Medicaid? Who do you know? Excuse me. Tell me someone you know who needs Medicaid that's going to lose it because of Trump. I'm very curious to hear about this Medicaidless person.
That's not a question I can answer because it hasn't.
Well, wait. You're telling me that people are going to lose, so you must have some examples. Hey, do you know who pays for? Do you know who pay? Listen, do you know who pays for my health care insurance? Who pays for my health care? Who do you think?
You do, but you don't. But you're in a position in which you don't need government.
How do you know what position I'm in? You don't know my financial position.
Well, if you're paying for your own, then you don't need it. But people who do need it, and people
No,
who need
get
that
this.
assistance,
Get this.
they have to be
Get
able
this.
to
This might
get it.
surprise you. I do not have health insurance.
You do not have health insurance.
I do not have health insurance. No.
Well, sir, why the heck are you on this show? Or what, do you have the funds to where you can just pay everything out of pocket, or what?
The reason I don't have health insurance is because of Barack Obama. He destroyed the private healthcare industry. And what happens is what Obama did with his Obamacare disaster. I'm 54 years old, okay? And I'm in good health. I don't have health problems. I'm 54 years old. For me to get health insurance, I would have to pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars a month and have a deductible that was thousands and thousands of dollars. I would have to spend $10,000 to $15,000 before I got $1 of coverage. That's not health insurance. That's so a bunch of freeloaders like you can get your Medicaid.
So what is Trump going to do? Because his first term, he talked about, this healthcare plan he's going to come out with, and it's going to be great, and this, that, and the other. He said it over 1,000 times. Yet, at the end of that term, he had no healthcare plan.
Listen, Trump is not out there for a bunch of freeloading bums that want a free ticket through life.
It's not freeloading bums, man. But
what kind of insurance do you have? Who pays for your health care insurance? What kind of health insurance do you have? What kind of health insurance do you have?
Huh? I have Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Who pays for it?
Through my job.
Who pays for it?
I pay.
You pay for it, okay? So what are you worried about? What are you worried about? A bunch of illegals that are in the country illegally getting free health care?
I run a business in which I help people who don't have the money to do this and do that and can't afford proper vehicles and this. That.
Please, do you know what I do? You know what I do to afford things? I work more. I work more.
Let me finish.
Get a job.
Please let me finish. Another problem we have with this country that Trump has done is when him and Elon Musk cut the U.S. aid to other countries. Do you know what that's called, sir?
Yeah.
With those other countries, it's called soft power.
No.
Do you understand
No,
that?
excuse me. Who cares about the other countries? Listen here. I'm not going to worry about it. Listen, this is the second show I've done today. I've been up since like 2 a.m. I work more so I can have more money. I'm not out there I'm not like you with my hand out, give me, and give this person, give me. What President Trump is doing is cutting Medicaid for illegals. So far, why should I be working all hours of the day to send money to foreign countries? Are you out of your mind?
Sir, do you consider yourself a Christian man?
Of course.
Did you know what Jesus did for those people?
Yeah, Jesus said, "Render unto Caesar what is Caesar's." See, Jesus was not involved in the government.
No, it's not a government thing. But at the end of the day, this country is supposed to be a Christian nation. We try to pattern ourselves after God, and Trump says God.
Really?
I don't believe in him, really.
So how many people are living free in your house? How many illegals are living free in your house that you're feeding and taking care of for free?
Zero.
Well, wait a minute. Don't you call yourself a Christian? Why aren't you letting these illegals live in your house?
Back in 2011, Obama made a plan to help those that were illegal. That were here illegally.
Yeah. We don't want to help the illegals. The only thing we want to help the illegals with is getting. Excuse me. We don't want to help the illegals with anything other than getting back to their home country. No help for the illegals. Go back to your own country.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Obama had a plan to help the illegals. We don't want to help the illegals. Oh, my goodness. Let me tell you about Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing. If you got a wet spot on your ceiling, you got a leak in your roof. And that's not good. That's not good, especially here in hurricane season in Florida. The thing about hurricanes, when there's a hurricane or a tropical storm, the winds from that tropical storm can reach hurricane strength. They're just not sustained. When you get a hurricane, Cat 1, that means Category 1, sustained winds of such and such. Tropical storm, it's sustained winds. But you still get Hurricane 1, Hurricane 2, 3 wind gust. And what the winds of a hurricane are looking for, they're looking for an entryway into your home. And that leak in your roof, you got a loose shingle, you got a loose tile, that's what the wind is looking for. you want to give Tom Laporta a call at Laporta Roofing. You know, he covers both the east and west coast of Florida and every place in between. He was named one of the best roofers and general contractors in South Florida. And I'm going to give you his cell phone number. He's a good MAGA guy who will never sell you a roof you do not need. And he handles every type of structure too, residential, commercial, and municipal. He even does church roofs. Works with every type of roofing material, and he can also handle the job of any size, whether it's a single office building, a single family home, or an HOA that has over 300 units. Here's his number. It's his cell phone. You can call or text 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. Now, you can also go to his website, laportaroofing.com. The number on his website is not his cell phone. Okay, that's the main office, and you're welcome to call the main office, but if you want to get the owner of the company, Tom Laporta himself, call or text him on his cell phone, 954-604-4602. All right, back to the phones we go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, this is Scott in Oklahoma.
Hey, Oklahoma.
Man, I just got to ask you, why are you a libtard magnet? You get all the crazies.
Well, because they're not, they're not used to being able, they're not used to being confronted with their ways, and they see me and they just can't handle it. They can't handle it. I'm the father figure that they don't have in their life. If they were raised right by their dads, they'd be Trump supporters.
Yeah, well, you read them the gospel and they still deny it. So
No, that's not true. Listen. I talk about this a lot. People say, why do you talk to all these liberal jerks, Well, first of all, I make all my points with them. Did you hear that guy? Obama had a plan to help the illegals. We don't want to help the illegals other than to send them home, right?
Yeah.
I meet at almost every appearance I do, I meet a listener who used to be a liberal, and they tell me this. I was a liberal, and I listened to you for years and years and years, and I finally woke up, and I voted for Trump. I hear that all the time from people. So, you don't want to just preach to the choir. You want to wake these people up.
Oh, you're definitely out there amongst them. I got to give you a pat on the back for it.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. All right. Well, listen, I appreciate the call, man. All right. You take care. All right. If you'd like to call in and you're watching live on YouTube, the toll-free number is pinned in the live chat. It's toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, it's Job for 9 out of California.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, I was just listening, as always. Thank you very much for doing the second show. I know you're working really hard, and I really do.
Well, I'm not complaining, but I only I'm not complaining. I only reference it because that guy wants to support a bunch of freeloaders, and here I am working like 18 hours a day. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous.
When I said that, I was genuinely saying thank you.
Thank you.
Work extremely hard, and I know that might be a new concept for some individuals.
Yes.
To kind of gather, but I'm grateful for what you do.
Well, thank you.
In regards to that caller, collectively, we can collectively make decisions in regards to where our money goes. That's why we're no longer paying for baby deletions, because collectively you can't take our money and do something that we collectively don't want to have done or being inadvertently paying for. Charity starts at home. So if you're so interested and so concerned, then why don't you have them move in with you? Why don't you provide them meals? Why don't you provide them with everything? Because collectively, we did not, they're being used as pawns by the Democrats to bankrupt our country.
Yeah.
And we know that has been going on. And we're doing something about it. And the funny thing about it is that the Democrats are they're not very smart, because each time they end up pushing this man, he ends up coming back with not just one action, but usually it's like 3. As soon as he gets done or at a point where he feels comfortable, he's going to change the immigration laws. And he's going to take examples from other countries. And for anybody that's actually gone out of this country, if you go to another country like in Latin America, guess what? They screen you. They want to know how long you're going to be there.
That's right.
They're making sure that you don't overstay your visa.
Mm-hmm.
They want to know everything about you. Oh my gosh. They also want to make sure that you have money in your bank account because they don't want to be.
Yeah, you know, we got our MAGA cruise coming up. I'm renewing my passport. You know, and I'm just going to, like, you know, these islands for a few hours, and I got to have my passport renewed. And these people want to come here and retire, right?
Exactly. So thank you very much, Democrats, for pushing us, because now we are going to get those immigration laws set in stone, and we're going to be taking examples from everybody else. And it's going to be much harder, and we're going to have a lot more laws, and we're going to have a lot more rules.
That's right.
Thank you very much. I'll talk to you later. You have a great day.
You too. All right.
All
right. I appreciate it. Take care. Take care. If you're on hold, hang in there, guys. Some great calls. I do appreciate it. And, you know, if you'd like to support my channel, become a Patreon supporter. There's a link in the description of the episode. You know, if you're a Patreon supporter, you get access to commercial-free editions of all of my podcast episodes, plus a lot of exclusive content that I post nowhere else. My wife and I both post to my Patreon page, and it's things you see nowhere else, including a lot of videos and vlogs and things that I do that I post nowhere else. It's patreon.com/RealBrianCraigShow, and your support is appreciated if you do choose to become a Patreon supporter. Top Patreon supporters get a live on-air shout-out thank you on every episode, plus they get their name on the screen here on YouTube. The names you will hear now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank them all. SFjr, Christine, ETW, Chuck, Pamela, Nick, Wesley, Doris, Heather, David, Maria in Texas, Alice, LeeZep, Shawna, George, Brandon, John, Frank, Dale, Tina, David, Laura, Rob, Wes, Sue, and Janice. These are our top Patreon supporters. Thank you all. Again, there's a link in the description of the episode to my Patreon page, and the direct website address is patreon.com/RealBrianCraigShow. All right, to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Frank in Titusville, Florida.
Hey, what's up, Frank?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention something about that. A few callers ago, that guy that was all praising Obama and talking about how he's the poster child for how we're supposed to take care of these illegals. And then he actually had the audacity to reference Jesus Christ and the Bible. And it's like, you know, I guess he just conveniently forgot the whole time when Obama was like, we are no longer a Christian nation.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, pick a side. You know, which is it?
Yeah, he said that all the Republicans were holding on to our guns and our Bibles. I mean, come on.
Yeah, they conveniently dump that stuff down the memory hole when it doesn't fit their agenda.
Plus he's up on treason charges.
Yeah, that's without even getting into that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Anyway, that was it. I just wanted to remind everyone of when he said we're no longer a Christian nation, for anyone that wants to reference Jesus.
Yeah,
exactly. I find that very offensive.
All right. I do too. You know, you don't hear me mixing politics with my Christianity. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is John from Idaho.
Yeah, John. Oh, hold on, John. Let me answer all these other lines. The phones are ringing off the hook. All right, John in Idaho. What's on your mind?
Well, I just wanted to say that you mentioned that these liberals just don't have any.
Yeah, I said liberals don't what?
All right. Yeah. Sorry. Hold on.
Well, you got a call coming in.
I got the YouTube going.
Oh yeah, you got to turn the volume down. There's a delay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to talk about how you mentioned the liberals. They just. Yeah, I agree. They don't have that proper father figure in their life, you know?
That's right.
Like, it's just, and they hear the gospel, it's like, I remember when I was like barely 15, and my dad used to diddle me while listening to Trump's speeches. And
isn't that nice? Took him a while to get to that. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. It's Jack from Sarasota again. How are you doing, my friend?
Okay.
All right. So, a couple things here. I see that we're kind of excited about Tulsi Gabbard's little thing. It's not going to go anywhere.
Well, then you got nothing to worry about. Then you should not be worried about it then, right? Why are you even calling? If it's not going anywhere, why are you even calling me about it? If it's a waste of time.
I would like to tell listeners that you're kind of misleading them. Yes. See, the Supreme Court kind of ruled that presidents are immune.
Then why was Trump arrested twice? 3 times. He was arrested actually like 3 times, right? Bragg got him, and then Fulton County, he got the mugshot, right? Then he had to go to the court in Miami for the break-in of Mar-a-Lago. If presidents are immune, why did Trump get arrested all these times? I'm confused by that.
The only that Trump.
Only Trump's not immune. They're all immune but Trump?
No.
Did you think about this before you called?
Well, would you like me to give you an answer, or are you going to cut me off like you usually do? All right, so here's the thing. Trump got his friends at the Supreme Court to give him immunity, but they also gave immunity to every other president.
Presidents are not James Bond, okay? They don't have licenses to kill. They have limited immunity. They have a form of limited immunity while in office, but if they commit a crime, there's the impeachment process that leads to a trial in the Senate. Okay?
Yeah.
So presidents are not immune. They can't go out and do crime. And by the way, not only are they not immune from activities while in office, they don't spend the rest of their lives immune. That means if that were true, they could go around and rape and murder people all the time, and you couldn't do anything about it. I mean, that's what you said is just absurd.
Correct.
Oh, that's correct. Presidents can do that. All right. Oh, my goodness. All of a sudden, presidents are immune, but Trump got arrested a bunch of times. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? He forgot about that. Yeah, what's on your mind?
Hey, Brian.
Yes.
Hey, Brian. It's John from Massachusetts.
Hey, John, what's up?
Hey, looking at some of these calls you've been getting, unbelievable calls you got this morning of all these incredibly positive conservatives. It makes up for it, really, because I haven't seen this kind of positive output in so long. And it's so amazing that we don't see these black pills every second now. And I'm getting tired of that, just like you were. And it's great to see this because we're starting to see the wheels move now. So we have everything in place. We have something there now. We have Tulsi Gabbard leading the charge here, which is absolutely incredible. And it's just great to see the energy is so positive. And I felt that really greatly.
I was very pleasantly surprised by our MAGA brothers and sisters who called me on the show this morning, who were excited that Tulsi Gabbard referred Obama and the rest of his co-conspirators to the Justice Department. I was expecting right out the box for the doom and gloom, nothing's going to happen. That people are really, they see it, they know now's the time. Things are going to happen.
It is going to happen, and it has to, everything's connected so well. I mean, he didn't go through all of this just to have nothing happen, and I really believe that. I think it's really folded out.
What do you think? What do you think that is? Why do you think MAGA conservatives all of a sudden are behind this? Because this is an unusual thing to say that justice will be served.
I think because of the components that are put in place this time, as opposed to before.
Yeah.
I think this time, he's fully loaded here, and I think we have all the pieces in place to do what we have to do and to make this happen. I really believe that, and I think that's what it is. And more and more people, thankfully, are seeing it this time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, listen, I appreciate the call.
Thank you.
All right, take care. Yeah, if you're on hold, hang in there. And if you'd like to call in, please do. The number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. Here's the great Tom Holman today at the press conference with Kristi Noem. Yeah, I mean, this whole idea of sanctuary cities. How can you, as a local official, say, if you are federal fugitives from justice, you can live here free and be immune in our sanctuary? You don't have that authority. That's right. Mm-hmm. Oh, man. Oh, man, you don't want Tom Homan after you. I mean, you get Tom Homan after you, you're done. You're going away. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, my name is Titus Ross. I'm from Barrington, Nova Scotia.
Oh, a Canadian.
And, just wondering why. What? Pardon?
A Canadian.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
I'm just wondering why that orange fuck you got there is driving the price of my lobster up. I can't sell it for goddamn shit.
I mean, who would want to buy food from a potty mouth like you? I mean, why do you got to use such profanity?
I got down to
Is everybody in Canada so low class, or is it just you?
Your wife's a whore, nigger.
There you go. Hear the laughter in the background? Yes, there they go. They're off to the funny farm. Now, oh my goodness. Now, I want to tell you guys about the laser wave pain treatment with Dr. Philip Appleton, which is amazing. Dr. Appleton has rid me of pain 7 times. His laser wave pain treatment works. The first time Dr. Appleton rid me of pain was my right knee. And I'd suffered, I don't know, like 30 years in this right knee with pain. It got worse over the years, but I can remember being like 20, 21, especially this time of year during the rainy season. Even at 21, it was just god-awful pain. And I just did, after years of it, I said, oh, this is my life now. And the first time I went to see Dr. Appleton, he treated my knee, rid me of pain. That was 3 years ago. He rid me of pain without any drugs, no shots, no injections, no surgery, no downtime, just treated me with this laser wave pain treatment. And 3 years later, not only is the pain gone, it has never returned. It is spectacular. And he's rid me of pain 6 times on top of that for injuries, arthritis, and all kinds of things. His laser treatment works on every type of pain I've ever heard of: arthritis, bronchial, neuralgia, bursitis, hip pain, knee pain, lumbar pain, sciatica, strains and sprains, tinnitus, tennis elbow, neck pain, stenosis. If you've been in a car accident, you have whiplash or pains related to the car accident, whether you were driving, a passenger in a Lyft, an Uber, the laser treatment works on all those things. He's rid me of shoulder pain maybe 3 times from injuries that I've had. We've had listeners travel to see Dr. Appleton from all over the United States. He is good. And it works. Not only does it work, appointments are not necessary. Walk-ins are welcome, even on Saturdays. Now, with that being said, you can make an appointment. If you're coming from out of town, you want to make an appointment, do that. But you can walk in without an appointment. If you have x-rays or scans, bring them with you. Dr. Appleton will look them over for you. All right, his number, give him a call and say bye-bye to your pain, like I've done 7 times. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. That's 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonChiro.com. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's William from Kansas.
All right, William, speak up a little bit. You're a little mumbly there. Hold on. Let me get this. I've got my lines mixed up. I forgot what line you're on. Okay, go ahead.
All right, pal. Hey, I just wanted to give a little insight into the liberal mindset. I was invited to a July 4th fireworks party, and of course they held it on the 5th, so it wouldn't be on the 4th. But I was seated at a table with some pretty prominent Democrats in the state government here, and they were just having a good time talking with each other, and they related how they were so grateful for the migrants who came over and kept the economy afloat while the Americans were allowed to self-quarantine at home, and we owed them a great
okay, all right. Appreciate that. Oh, I want to play this before I forget. This writer, who Michael Wolff, he wrote in Trump's first term a terrible book about President Trump. He just hates, and he shared something that is absolutely fantastic. Do you know that Jeffrey Epstein was brought to justice because of President Trump? Listen to this. This guy hates Trump. He wrote that book, remember? Michael Wolff. Listen to this. He's talking about Trump and Epstein. Wow. So Jeffrey Epstein was brought to justice, according to Michael Wolff, and Jeffrey Epstein himself, because President Trump turned him in to the local police. Pretty amazing, huh? Mm-hmm. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. This is Nick out of Baltimore. I called this morning. I don't know if it's okay to call.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I wanted to mention something here because there's some question as to whether there can be tribunals or not, and because of what's going on, what Obama has done. Well, here's what I think, and that is that when, and I'll walk softly with this. I know the rules of YouTube. When there is interference in an electoral process, it can be considered a crime against this country. Now, what will happen? They can have a tribunal, and it'll get it out of the D.C.
What we heard. First off, I am opposed to military tribunals. I don't. I know there have been tribunals in the past. But we're in a different place now, and we're not involved in a war. Other things, and I don't really like the idea of the military having courts for civilians. But but this case, because it involves this involves a conspiracy in other areas. They could file charges in the court system right here in Florida because the break-in of Mar-a-Lago is a part of it. So it doesn't have to be in that D.C., Virginia, disgusting jury pool area.
Exactly, and I agree with you. One way or another, basic bottom line is one way or another, we've reached a point of no return. The bad guys have reached a point of no return. So something is going to come about, because with what Tulsi released yesterday, and with what's been coming out today, it's just it's not going to stop. It's like an avalanche, and I think to answer your question this morning that you posed to me, why does Obama do this? I think everyone was intimidated, because it's President Obama, but I think that's gone now.
Well, this is an interesting thing, okay? Because President Obama, obviously the first black president of the United States, and he's also the first.
Historic.
Yeah, it is very historic. He's also the first black leader of a major nation. There's been black leaders, but they've always been third world places. So so who wants to be in the history books of being the person that puts the handcuffs on the first black president? So it's this perfect job for Kash Patel, who's not white. I would suggest that Kash Patel do it because he's not white. But that is the only hope he has. As this gets deeper, we're going to start hearing the race card, and liberals write the history, and it would be first black president gets arrested. But I do think you're right. It seems we're in this post-racial thing where this has happened, and plus Tulsi Gabbard is she's a native Hawaiian, right? So she's a indigenous person, so that does give her some protections. Right? He's a colonizer. He claims he was born in Hawaii. He's a colonizer. She's an indigenous Hawaiian.
Exactly. And remember that Obama went after Tulsi Gabbard when she was a Democrat.
That's right.
Because she wouldn't go along and toe the party line. So, listen, great podcast, great show, great programming. In the morning, what is the best way to get you on Alexa? Someone has asked me.
To listen on Alexa, the best way to listen on, if you want to listen on Alexa, is ask Alexa to play True Oldies.
True Oldies FLA, I think,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and it'll come up on Alexa.
Okay.
But I'd rather
Thanks
you
a lot.
watch me on YouTube, because then I get the views. I want you guys to watch me on YouTube. If you're gonna listen to me online, listen to me on YouTube. If you
No,
can't,
I'm watching on YouTube. We watch on YouTube, but someone asked me who is blind who is listening on the radio,
I used to tell people to do that on the radio, and people would I was turning on everybody's devices and everything, during the show, and people didn't like that too much. But if you say, Alexa, play True Oldies FLA in the mornings, I'll come up.
Okay.
All right?
Hey, thanks. I'll relay the message.
All right, appreciate it, Nick. Yeah. Of course, I want you guys to listen to me all over the place. Also, I want to invite all of you to come on our MAGA cruise. Our MAGA cruise is so much fun. Our 10th annual cruise is coming up. Call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot, 561-244-5779, 561-244-5779. This is our 10th year of doing our MAGA cruises. We're going to Antigua, which I'm very excited. I've never been to Antigua. We have a great shore excursion there. We have chartered a very upscale private boat that we're going on a snorkeling trip in, and we're having lobster lunch. But if you're not into lobster, don't worry. Ian, our travel agent, he is a very, very religious Orthodox Jew, and he doesn't eat lobster, so there are non-lobster alternatives. But I like the lobster, and it's open bar, too. But we're going to Antigua, the Virgin Islands, and Nassau in the Bahamas, which is exciting. And if you're watching on YouTube, this is a video of one of our cruises. They're a lot of fun. Join us. You're all invited. We got a great group of people. 561-244-5779. Now, if you get Ian from Cruise and Travel Depot's voicemail, leave a message with your name and number, and he will call you back. All right, we're going on board the Celebrity Beyond, which is a beautiful ship. 561-244-5779. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Dave in Virginia.
Hey, Dave, what's up?
Well, maybe somehow they could get Hillary to throw Obama under the bus.
Well, she's gonna be in the cell next door. She's part of this. She was involved in the whole conspiracy.
Yeah, I was just thinking, since Obama was the first black president, maybe somehow they could get her to roll him over somehow to where she'd be the one that would be.
No. It's really an amazing thing. In the first campaign, Trump never said lock her up. People in the crowds did, but he never said lock her up. And at the time, I was of the mindset that it was a bad idea to lock up Hillary. But a lot's happened since then. They've arrested President Trump multiple times. They shot him.
Yeah.
They tried to shoot him again. They broke into his house. They tossed Melania's underwear drawer, Barron's room, convicted him of crimes he didn't commit. I mean, so we're in a different place now than we were 10 years ago.
Yeah. Whole different place.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just thought I'd bring it up. Maybe somehow we could get her to turn him over.
Yeah. All right. Appreciate the call. Bill would love. I think Bill would want Hillary to go to jail. Living with Hillary Clinton is kind of like being in a prison. You almost feel bad for President Clinton to have to live with her in Chappaqua. If you're new to my program, my name's Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure that you subscribe. In the mornings, I live stream in the mornings from 6 until 9 a.m. Eastern time every day. I'm on a whole bunch of radio stations. And like now, I take live calls when I'm on the air. And one thing I do, not only taking these calls, these are all screenless, unvetted calls. Nobody else does that. And we have the ability to screen the calls. And what I mean by not screening and unvetted, when you call in, no one answers the phone, I put you on hold. And then when I say, what's your name, where you're calling from, that's the first time anybody's heard of you. And I've always done that. In all these years I've done this show. And I think it makes the show more interesting for a number of reasons. One, I don't know what's coming. I don't know who's on hold. I don't know what they're going to bring up. And so, you might catch me on something. You never know. And also, when you have somebody that's answering the phones, when you call in, you tell them what you want to say. And then when you get to me, you repeat. It's much better, more interesting this way. And I like the idea of not knowing what's coming when I go to the phones. And if it makes it more interesting for me, it's got to be more interesting for you. So when I say unscreened, unvetted on the calls, that's exactly what I mean. And anytime I'm live here on YouTube like this, if I'm in a studio, whether I'm in my private studio or at the radio station, I'm always taking calls like that. Okay, so those of you that are new, welcome. You'll enjoy this. So make sure that you subscribe and click that notification bell. And my podcast, the Brian Craig Show podcast, is on all podcast platforms, but you also get it right here on YouTube. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the morning. All right, again, my name is Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk.